So I decided to make 10 more Hormozi lessons to you guys because why not? Over the course of the past 3 days of his book launch, him and his team officially broke over 100 mil in rev, which is absolutely freaking nuts and absolutely incredible because him and his team deserve everything for what they've done. So let's get right into it. One, before you tell someone how to live their life, ask them what kind of life they want to live. Too many people nowadays, guys, especially for you watching this, if you're on your journey, they're going to tell you how you should live your life. But the truth is, they're just a reflection of what they aren't, if that makes sense. And people are trying to live through you by telling you what you should do with your life. And don't listen to those people. The only people you should listen to while on your journey, if you're in this space, are mentors, people far ahead of you, people who have done what you've done, or people currently in your position, that you're brainstorming with, networking with. And so, too many people nowadays are going to tell you how to live your life. Don't listen to those people if they're not where you want to be or are currently doing what you're doing. Don't listen to those people. Now, you can listen to those people, when it comes to other things and whatever else advice that you have going on. But for this pure mindset, I'm telling you right now, do not listen to the noise. And you truly, truly, truly will kind of fall back to who you were if you listen to those people that aren't where you want to be. Point two, if your friends are uncomfortable calling you out on your BS, you're not friends. And this is extremely true. I mean, think about your life and your current situation. Have you had friends that you thought were friends but would talk behind your back? You'd hear it the through someone else that they were talking behind your back. And true friends, guys, aren't uncomfortable on calling you out on your bullshit. That's the true essence of a friendship. Someone that can hold you accountable to what you're doing, if you're doing the right thing or if you're doing the wrong thing, and to kind of straighten you out. Because if you have no accountability, no true friends that are there when you need, then you can just get distracted on your own, not have any oversight, and just kind of get distracted and get lazy. But you need people to tell you when you're doing the things right and when you're doing things wrong. And that's really important because if you do everything yourself, if you don't listen to anyone, then you're just wasting time, you're losing money, and you could be far ahead if you actually just had people around you who are comfortable with kind of calling you out on your bullshit. Point three, you can either blame your conditions or you can learn to win in any condition. And oh my goodness, this is extremely prevalent in your life watching this. I mean, this is just extremely applicable to anyone who's watching this. People like to blame conditions. People like to blame their environments. People like to blame their friends. People like to blame their family for their current situation. And I too was in a position where I blamed my environment for my results, for where I was in life. And this was before I kind of started the agency and started getting into the business side of in this world. And this was post university. I was extremely mad at my parents. I was extremely mad at my current situation because I just knew I was destined for more. But the vehicle wasn't there, the knowledge wasn't there, and I was just blaming my environment for my current situation. And that was a terrible point in life. And if you're watching this too, I'm sure you've been through the stage where you don't want to continue with what you're currently doing, but you are unsure of how to get out of it. And that's where you need to seek knowledge and seek new information and join mentorships and get out of that situation as quickly as possible. And I stay away from these people who just continue to blame their environment, to continue to blame others for their situation. They are toxic, their energy is negative, and there is no getting them out. It's hard to lift people up, but you have to invest in the right people if you know they're willing to put in the work. But if they're not, they can bring you down, but you can't bring them up. Point four, cheapest ways to improve your mood, clean your desk. Extremely true. Like Jordan Peterson says, wake up and make your bed. And it's not just, oh, making your bed is the big deal. It's truly what's deep and what's behind that. And that's systemizing routine, making sure you pay attention to detail, making sure you stay consistent and disciplined in sticking true to your words. And it's a lot more, guys, than just simply cleaning your desk. When I clean my room, when I first wake up in the morning, like for example, when I lived in Tulum for the last roughly 6 months, 6 weeks, not months, Jesus. I would wake up and immediately make my bed, tidy up the room, and it just made me feel amazing. And I'm pretty sure this is a fact as well, but I think it's the first rush of dopamine that you feel in the day is also kind of how you're going to start and continue throughout your day. And that's why after you work out first thing in the morning, you feel like $1,000,000 and you're ready to go and dominate because that dopamine rush of having worked out and just feeling fasted and caffeinated and ready to go, it's an amazing and incredible feeling. And there's so many cheap, like this quote, there's so many cheap ways and low cost ways to just lift your mood instantly. And if you can be in a bad mood for no reason, you can be in a good mood for no reason. And it's really just trying to be optimistically delusional in all aspects of your life. When things are going bad, try to stay positive. When things are going good, keep that going, keep that momentum going, and it's an amazing feeling. Point five, if you're tired of trying so hard all the time without getting ahead, remember it only takes a few right things to work out, not everything. Extremely true. It's just about putting time in. It only takes a few things to go right. For example, one client that you can sign can literally lead to four, five, six referrals if you actually do what you can do. And I think this also goes to point eight, right? Yeah, point eight and point five are kind of tied, and I'll kind of just morph point eight right into this too. But it's like you can just get lucky by staying in the game longer and taking more at bats. If you take 1,000 sales calls, guys, you're gonna close like at least 50 people. Just think about it. Like you're gonna close these amount of people if you just put in the work and do the volume. It's that simple. And one of the cool things I learned from Hormozi over this past weekend is that companies sub a million typically experience what they feel is volatility and imbalance and insecurity, but what it really is just lack of volume. And I've experienced this as well. I'm like, oh yeah, I've had my best month, but now things are shit. And it's like, well, have I consistently been putting in the volume to set appointments? And it's like, okay, maybe that is the truth. Maybe that is right. Maybe I should listen to him. And I've experienced this as well. Maybe not so much recently, right? Because the volume is there, but like earlier on, what I thought was volatility was just simply a lack of volume and doing the inputs. And when he said that, another epiphany, another realization moment, and it's like, holy shit, okay, that's the truth. And I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not, because that was. And for you watching this, most companies sub a million, what they feel as if is volatility and is basically just a lack of volume and doing the actual work. And that's so true. And for you watching this, if you're sub million and you understand this and you apply it, you're going to win. But others will hear this and they just won't change a thing or change their mindset in regards to volatility within their company. But also, eight, just believe that you're lucky. Like both these points, just believe that you're truly lucky. Now, this might be a bad example, but I went to the Hard Rock here in Florida recently, and the entire time at the roulette table, at the blackjack table, I'm like, I am a gift from the gods. I'm lucky. They're going to bless me. I am beyond lucky. I'm the luckiest person here. Just kept saying it, saying it, saying it back to myself all the time. And because what's the alternative? To say I'm not lucky, to not believe that I'm actually going to win? Like, yeah, it is gambling or whatever, but the same thing applies to that. Same thing applies to this. Just believe that you're lucky. Believe that they're going to show on the calls. Believe that your media campaigns are going to work. Because what's the alternative to not believe that the best is going to happen for you? You might as well go to the extreme and believing that everything is going to work and everything is going to be okay. Because why not? And I won money. I won close to $1,000 this past weekend, just believing that I was going to win. It's absolutely a crazy mindset in the casino, but outside into the real world, apply that mindset. Point. Okay, point six. Life is the only game where you get to decide if you won or lost. If your goalposts keep moving, remember you're the one moving it. Absolutely true. Like I spoke about before, create a vision board. That vision board is going to have things you're going to check off, and in addition to add on. And as I continue to check things off, 10K a month, 15K a month, it's like, holy shit, this is happening. But also, it doesn't feel like enough because money's an infinite game and it's never going to feel like enough. But there are times of gratitude where I'm like, holy shit. I mean, if I look back to where I was 6 months ago, not knowing anything about sales, anything about marketing, anything about how to run a company, and look to where I am right now. Oh my goodness. But it doesn't feel like enough. And I am grateful every single day for where I am, but again, it's never enough. There's so many more things that I need to do, and I barely scratch the surface of what I want out of life. Point seven, it's hard to be the person who never gives up. It's much easier to become one. Absolutely true. We hear all the time, in sports, in this or in anything in life, the person that's going to get the most out is the person that puts the most in. Kobe, for example, showing up before practice, staying after practice, absolute maniac. Michael Jordan and the documentary that he had on Netflix, and just the sheer amount of aggression and obsession and will to win is what made him outcompete every single person. And it's pretty consistent among those that are at the top of their game in sports. And the same exact thing applies here. You see those companies and those individuals that are making 7, 8 figures in marketing and sales, and that's because they just simply put more time in, and they decided to make this everything, to make this their life. And they are willing to sacrifice what they everything, and they're willing to sacrifice everything. And so when you begin this journey, it's important to ask yourself what your goals are and then what you're willing to sacrifice as well. And most people aren't willing to sacrifice taking that vacation, spending time with their family, doing short-term pleasures and going out and having fun. Most people aren't willing to sacrifice that. Do you think Elon Musk is at cocktail hour from 4 to 7, 5 days a week at his local bar in Texas? No, he's not. It's Steve Jobs, every single one of these entrepreneurs and these people who truly have made something of themselves, they went through a period of decades of putting everything to the side and focusing on building their company. But it goes back to what you want, what you're willing to sacrifice, and no one can answer that but you. So just be that person if you truly want to make something out of yourself. Now, point eight, I kind of morphed it into points 5.9. It's less about pushing hard and more about finding ways to making continuing easy. Now, as I mentioned before, July was my best month, but it wasn't the hardest month. It felt easy. I was in a state of flow. I was in a state of just money coming in. I was in a state of signing new clients and getting referrals. And it was just felt so, so easy. And so you get to a point where it's like just a state of surrender and the state of flow and just this state of acceptance just starts to happen in real time. And in the initial period of momentum getting off the ground, it's hard and it's not going to feel like flow because you're going against friction and you're putting in the inputs that are completely new to you and it's a whole different world. But once you kind of get off the ground and just staying at cruising altitude, it becomes a state of flow. But also, I know I need to scale. And so that state of flow, I think, is going to disappear because I need to lock in and scale to some of the goals, the financial goals that I have in mind. So I don't think this state of flow is going to last forever for me. I think August is going okay. I'm definitely going to beat July as well, but I need to get into a point where I need to scale rapidly, and that state of flow is going to go away shortly. So that's point eight. Point nine, it's less about pushing hard and wait, no, that was point nine. Okay, point 10, don't expect someone who doesn't understand your goals to understand what you're willing to give up on them. I just covered this. So again, kind of similar to point one, most people who are not in your space telling you what to do, they have no idea. It's basically like if you were to tell Muhammad Ali, if he was alive, to tell him how to box, or Mike Tyson, or anyone who's at the top of their game, right? It's basically like an average person telling a professional what to do. And I I completely disregard the opinions of others who aren't in this game when they tell me what to do. And you watching this, I'm sure you've experienced this as well. But before I began my journey, there were people who wanted me to do what they were doing. And it's like, oh, you should do this. I think you'd be good at this. Oh, I think you'd like this. And it's like internally, I'm just screaming no. But I'm like, yeah, it sounds good, man. Sounds good. That sounds like a great idea. Maybe I'll do that. I'll give it a look. but people try to live through you because they want you to be like them. And when you do something that's against the norm, people often see you as not like them, and that's a direct attack on their identity and who they are as a person, because you surround yourself with who you are. And so I would just say, don't listen to people who aren't doing what you're doing. Find a mentor, find someone who's far ahead of you or are currently doing what you're doing, and talk with them nonstop. And that's on the business side of things. But outside of that, sure, you can listen to them on whatever else the advice is. But again, guys, Hormozi, 10 more lessons from his X accounts, and I hope this is of value. All right, I'll see you.